ahead on 12 News Weekend, celebrating a new addition to Maple Grove. We tour the city's new destination park and see what makes it different from many other in the Twin Cities. Plus,
it's a national treasure right in our backyard.
We paddle the Mississippi to show you the new plan to embrace nature. But first, Brooklyn Park Police tests a tool that they believe will help law enforcement and the residents they serve. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us on 12 News Weekend. As soon as this week, Brooklyn Park Police will start using body cameras.
It's part of a 60-day pilot program. Brooklyn Park Police see body cameras as a tool that can help them, like squad car cameras did more than a decade ago.
It's the newest technology that can help law enforcement. In fact, our officers believe in that as well. You know, the stuff that's been going on nationally saying that body cameras are going to resolve those issues. I don't know that that's accurate. I think that the body-worn camera data is going to be very beneficial for us, for the courts, for the community.
Body cameras clipped to a police officer's uniform. Brooklyn Park Police have been testing them out for the past 2.5 years. One of the concerns with them deals with privacy issues. Current law makes the video data public with exceptions such as active criminal investigations. But Brooklyn Park Police are joining other cities in pushing to make that data private until the state legislature can work out a policy.
Well, get ready for some big changes at the Golden Valley Library.
We'll have expanded, early literacy kinds of things out here. We'll have much more room for our children's collection.
The library closes Monday for renovations and will remain closed until January. The 1970s library was last remodeled in 1994. Renovations will include nearly tripling the size of the children's area, adding new computers and tables, and creating more community gathering spaces.
It's basically a dated problem, and we need to just reorganize so that we're serving our population. That has changed. We have a lot more children than we used to, and we need to make space for seniors as well. We have both ends of the scale.
While the library is closed, patrons can use the Ridgedale, Rockford Road, or St. Louis Park libraries to pick up and return books. A long-awaited park in Maple Grove is now officially open to the public. Central
Park will become a backyard destination for residents in the heart of the city, and it offers something for everyone. Even though Thursday was technically light jacket weather, kids could not resist testing out new interactive fountains. Cultivating 45-plus acres of old gravel mining land into the new Central Park of Maple Grove has been decades in the making.
I was here about a week ago, and people were out here already, as a family playing with their dog, and they lived right across the street, and that's exactly what it was planned for and what it was designed for, and people are really going to enjoy this park.
The park will serve people in a growing part of Maple Grove. There are more than 400 apartments within walking distance of this park, and more coming.
This is the densest part of Maple Grove when it's all completed. And I think it's in the area of 4,000 people will live in this envelope here.
They call it the urban park, but it's going to provide fun things for not only the Maple Grove residents, but people outside of Maple Grove.
Once here, park goers can pick their pleasure, starting with the perfect space for cartwheels.
The crown jewel is the big lawn space. It's an open lawn like Central Park in New York City, and it'll be very, very multi-purpose.
The fountains have LED lighting in the evening. There's a trail loop around the pond that's nearly a mile long. Then on the backside of the park, pickleball and basketball courts that will be open by day and lit by night.
This is really, really neat, and it's offering a lot for a lot of different people.
Gardens and a labyrinth are also planned, and families are looking forward to something else.
Probably the playground. Like I said, we're at the playgrounds 2-3 times a week at least.
Finally, a new building for weddings and parties, but will act like a warming house in the winter for the refrigerated ice skating loop.
As far as the pavilion itself, the park shelter, it's an amazing place.
But perhaps one of the best things about this $16 million park is that it's already been paid for through city savings and a special park fee.
Oh, it's beautiful, it's paid for, and it's hopefully our citizens are going to love on a year-round basis.
The playground is supposed to be open in the next month. The refrigerated ice skating trail is projected to open in November and stay open through March.
A housing developer says it is the single biggest request he gets, detached townhomes for empty nesters. That's what is now being proposed in northeastern Brooklyn Park. Ramsey Properties is proposing 59 detached townhomes in a development called the Villas of Rush Creek Trail. Association fees will cover landscaping and driveway and walkway maintenance. Prices per unit are expected to start at $320,000 on up. The City Council will review the plans later this month.
A popular Brooklyn Park restaurant will reopen sometime in the future. This after a car slammed into their building for the second time in 2 years. That story tops our weekend review. Owner Jim Wagner of Wagner's Drive-In showed us the damage this week. Surveillance video shows a dark-colored GMC truck crashing into the restaurant and driving off. As we went to air, police were still looking for the person responsible. It could be a month before Wagner's reopens. Plymouth-based Arctic Cat announced a big move this week. The maker of snowmobiles and ATVs plans to move its headquarters to the North Loop of Minneapolis, an area that includes the Warehouse District and Target Field. The company's current home, the Waterford Park building at Highways 55 and 169, has about 35 employees. Arctic Cat says the move will allow the company to expand to as many as 200 workers. And a Brooklyn Park company won a U.S. Supreme Court victory. Octane Fitness was awarded nearly $2 million in legal fees, the culmination of a 6.5-year legal battle. Octane Fitness, which designs and builds exercise equipment, have been sued by a larger competitor over patent infringement, a complaint that went unfounded. Octane Fitness CEO Dennis Lee says the high court ruling should help other small companies take on legal attacks, where in the past they might have simply settled the case. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, enjoying views of the Mississippi River like some have never experienced before.
Then later in sports, after a slow start to their season, one local volleyball team sweeps back-to-back matches this week.
But first, it warms up again. Monday, temperatures reach back into the 80s. Golden Valley features a new attraction. The Minneapolis Park Board is reusing ash trees cut down to stop the spread of the emerald ash borer insect. The wood has been turned into a boardwalk in the Eloise Butler Flower Garden. The boardwalk will eventually wind through the garden's wetlands. Park officials say finding a way to reuse the ash trees is a good way to demonstrate sustainability.
What we're able to do is showcase this wood, ash wood, harvested, and then it was specially heat treated to make it more suitable for the outdoor use. And so it has this beautiful kind of caramely color to it, and it really looks great in the garden.
Private fundraising helped raise money for the boardwalk. A dedication ceremony is planned on September 20th. For the past 5 years, Twin Cities residents have been able to take advantage of a bicycle sharing program.
It's a fun and healthy way to get around town, but now the National Park Service wants to take that same concept and apply it to the state's most famous waterway.
The Mississippi National River and Recreation Area is one of 400 national parks.
It doesn't require a trip to an exotic destination.
It's a national treasure right in our backyard.
To experience Mother Nature's beauty.
So we have this right in the middle of the urban Twin Cities area, and we're not taking advantage of it.
This vehicle is going to Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park.
Fully taking advantage of these waters and the pristine surroundings requires local residents to have access to a boat. But it's a luxury many don't have.
And one of the things we've really been hearing from residents, they want better access to the river. They want ways to get out and actually see, touch, feel, smell the river. And right now that's really hard to do, especially when you don't have your own canoe or kayak.
The National Park Service now has a goal to change that with a proposed Canoe Share program.
The whole idea of what we're trying to accomplish here is to get people to the river without a car and to enjoy the river or to commute by bike, some form of non-motorized transportation.
Thursday morning, the National Park Service and other interested partners gathered for a test run of the Canoe Share route.
Which I don't know has been done before in a national park, so it's exciting.
The route begins at the Mississippi West Regional Park in Ramsey, then requires the group to paddle 9 miles down the river to Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park,
where we will take out the boats and switch to bikes and ride the bikes back to our put-in point here.
It's the maiden voyage of a program that she hopes will become a permanent fixture on the river starting next summer.
There's a lot of interest and a lot of paddlers in Minnesota and the Midwest, so it's a very popular activity.
Now they just need $150,000 to make it happen.
You don't have to own the equipment. You can just go, get out, be with nature, and have a great day.
The $150,000 price tag would fund 3 stations along the river where people could rent canoes and bicycles. One area under consideration is on the Brooklyn Park side of the river, just below the Coon Rapids Dam. Local park officials hope to get a grant from the National Park Service to fund the pilot program. Well, coming up, some of the most beautiful flowers you'll ever see. We happen to find them in Champlin.
But first, we'll hear from a Park Center football player coming off a game for the ages. That's coming up in sports with John Jacobson.
Welcome back. John's here now at Sports, and for those who don't know, I'm a De La Salle graduate, and not some good news for the De La Salle football team recently.
You got done in almost at one player by himself, yeah, last Friday. Park Center High School has had more than its share of outstanding athletes throughout the years. One of the best there right now enjoyed a memorable night on the football field. Number 3, senior defensive back and wide receiver Amani Hooker of Park Center put together an unforgettable night in a win over De La Salle. Hooker had 3 interceptions and returned 2 of them for touchdowns, including his 100-yard return. The Iowa recruit also had a 67-yard rushing touchdown and a receiving TD in the win.
Yeah, it's something definitely I look forward to doing. I guess it just happened that time. Hopefully I can just keep doing it. I just got the ball and I just ran. I wanted to score, so I guess that was happening. No one happened to be in front of me. So not on both sides. I had it on offense when I was like 6th grade or something like that, but not on both sides of the ball.
We'll have highlights of Park Center's Week 4 game against Armstrong Monday on our Sports Jam show here on Channel 12. The Wayzata volleyball team got off to a rough start, losing their first 3 matches of the season. The Trojans are trying to build a little momentum toward what they still expect to be a good year. Lakeville North visiting Wayzata earlier this week had a good start for the Trojans after the Reagan Palish dig. Anna Kate Gross finding an open area for the point and an 8-2 Trojans lead. It's a back and forth first set, but Mackenzie Greshel sets to Kate Berg for the kill, and Wayzata pulls out a close 25-22 win. The second set is mostly Wayzata. They work the slide play here from Morgan Baufield that gets the kill. Wayzata rolls to a 25-11 win. Third set, nice dig, keeps the ball alive, and they get it to Berg, who puts it away for an 8-6 Trojans lead. And they stretch that lead to take control of the match. Baufield gets a kill off the Panthers blockers, and Wayzata sweeps Lakeville North. The Trojans also beat Edina this week for the team's 3rd straight win. Heritage Christian Academy of Maple Grove is unbeaten so far, and the Eagles are ranked number 6 in Class A volleyball in the state this week. Another local team tops the state poll in the largest class. Champlin Park is rated number 1 in Class 3A ahead of Egan and Prior Lake. Rebels edged then number 1 Prior Lake in a 5-set match in the season opener. Lakeville South and Rosemount round out the top 5. Hopkins is ranked number 9. Wayzata and Tutino Grace are among the other teams receiving votes. Fall is right around the corner, as the cold air that hit Minnesota this week reminded us. Pro angler Terry Tuma talked about fall fishing in this week's Channel 12 fishing tip.
Fall fishing is upon us. A very, very productive time to catch quality and quantity of fish, and that's going to pertain to most species of fish. But always remember, no food, no fish. And you know, so we hear the comment, well, they're bulking up, but there's not going to be enough food source. They're getting ready for winter. I really don't believe in that. There's always food source, but what does happen, one food source will die, another one's going to hatch. So these fish can definitely move from one location to another. And the other big factor is that we have cooler water temperatures. We're talking after turnover time frames. But we've caught a lot of bass in dead weeds late fall pad. We caught crappies on sandy shoreline areas, which they're not supposed to be there. So keep an open mind, search for these fish. You are going to catch fish. Again, one of the best times of the season to catch big fish. Sorry to say, this is the last open water tip on Channel 12. We are going to be back in December talking about new ways, new procedures of ice fishing, which is obviously a very growing activity throughout the winter in the Midwest. Be sure to tune in for those tips and have a great week on the water and enjoy the fall season.
Thanks, Terry. We'll see him again in about 3 months.
True sign of fall coming. No more Terry
it's
Tuma
not
for a little
right.
while.
Right.
All right. Thanks, John. Still ahead, colorful flowers that have reached impressive heights.
They are as tall as some people. We'll take you to Champlin to show you the beauty when we come back.
And finally, a garden in Champlin that is impressing the greenest of green thumbs.
It's where you'll find a vast array of colorful dahlias. Reporter Sonny Goins gives us a tour.
It's sort of a cathartic experience to kind of come down and relax.
This Champlin home backs up to a hidden paradise.
This is where all the fun stuff is at.
A paradise where you'll find Ryan Karsick,
Yeah.
a member of the Binding Roots Gardening Club.
When you look at blooms like this that are, 8 inches across, they're amazing.
You might say he has a thing for dahlias.
Look at this one here.
He's been growing them for 5 years.
I counted it out this morning. I have 43 different varieties and 54 in total that I planted.
The rows of dahlias look like an artist's palette.
Well, they're huge.
Bursting with every color imaginable.
That's called Diva. Those purple ones are called Diva. Raspberry Punch. This one's called Glamour Girl.
In cold climates, dahlias are tuberous rooted perennials.
After the last frost is up, you can get them in, and then in the fall, you dig up the tubers.
Dahlias are tall. Some reach more than 5 feet, and the blooms are so heavy, you have to stake them.
You can imagine with the weight of these things, and you get a little bit of rain on them, they can topple them over in no time.
Besides using fertilizer, Ryan recommends cutting back extra stems to get bigger blooms.
Cut back on some of these stems and stuff that are growing that are pulling energy from the rest of the plant.
While Ryan loves cultivating dahlias,
The best part about it, of course, is in the end when you have blooms like this.
he doesn't grow them for himself.
All of these flowers that you see here will all be given away probably in the next week.
Ryan and his daughter give the flowers to friends and folks at an assisted living facility.
Can you put those ones in there too for Daddy?
He says the pleasure of the blooms lasts much longer when you give them away.
Nothing more than a greater experience than I can think of than watching the looks on people's faces when they walk up with one of these huge blooms and give them to them.
In Champlin, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Ryan recommends putting fresh cut stems in very hot tap water. This will set your blooms and make them last for about a week. And boy, those were beautiful.
I know. Sonia brought several back to the newsroom. And Sonia said that Ryan told her so many people saw the story and so many people called him that he gave a private tour of his garden on Friday. So that's very, very cool.
That is cool.
That is. Everybody will enjoy them.
Indeed. Well, that's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a nice weekend, everyone. We'll see you here again Monday at 4 o'clock.